All right. So, hello everyone. This is week 4 for B207B, and we will continue with the globalization topic. This block, actually, this session 14 is about introduction to branding. And also, this is a continuation to what we have discussed the previous week when we discussed marketing for global organizations. And we said how marketers would have what we call a different offering for consumers residing in different countries. Why do we have different offerings? Because we have different target markets. All right? So these are keywords that you need to remember always. Don't replace them with any other words. Okay? When you write in business, when you speak business, you have to use these keywords. I will repeat the keywords. We have a target market that is different geographically because of the different locations, different countries, different cities that global organizations target. So we have different target markets. Because these target markets are different, they have different specifications of what needs and wants they have. So people in Saudi Arabia would have different needs and wants than the consumers in the United States, for example. All right, so this is why the companies will have a different offering. What is the offering? It's composed of a marketing strategy based on the product, the price, the place, and the promotion. So you will see these to be different in different countries, in different places of the world, even if it is the same company. Okay, now, global organizations are also brands. All right, and this is why today's class will be based on branding, and I want you to be able to link it to also the previous week's class, which was about marketing globally. So the learning objectives here, we will see what the role of branding is. We will we will have some considerations of brand naming, some key concepts in branding, and then finally also we will look at the ethical considerations of the branding. So now as a first step, I'm sure you have heard about the word brand. So now you are a business student. If anybody asks you about what a brand is, if you need to define a brand to anyone, what would you say? The name of a business is a brand. Yes, it's the name. It's the logo. What else? The colors of the logo. Yes.
Slogans and packaging is also included in brand.
Yes, absolutely. Slogans and packages are included also. So all of these combined will form a brand. Okay, so just like each one of us has a name, also companies have names in terms of, we want to call them names. Okay, now think about how you have a certain image, a certain idea, a certain perception about each person that you know. Okay, also you have a perception about each brand name that you know. Now, the question here is, how do you develop this perception, this thinking about a person or a brand name? How is it developed in your head? The name itself, is it enough only by the name to establish?
It's also about the reputation, the personality you give to your business.
Right. It's about the reputation. It's about the actions that the company takes. Okay. So there is a group of actions and decisions made. All of these will form the brand for your organization. So here we have some definitions of a brand. So the first one says it's a name, a term, a sign, a symbol, or a design. So, or a combination of them. So it's all of these combined, okay, either all of them or some of them combined that make the brand name, okay, and that will decide what you as a consumer will think about this product, okay? So it's an identifiable product, service, person, or place augmented in such a way that the buyer or user perceives relevant. Notice that here, the first very important word that we have is that it's identifiable. What does this word mean? Identifiable.
Recognizable.
Yes, it's recognizable. It's known. I can know the brand. The sooner I see the product, I know this product belongs to brand X, for example. Okay, it's identifiable. You know, the human brain works in such an interesting manner. We have the ability to store all this kind of information in our heads. So today, if I ask you to write down 100 brands, I'm sure you are able to write down 100 names of brands that you know, okay? Starting from clothing to electronics, to cars, to shoes, to chocolate, makeup, shampoos, whatever. You know brands, you know so many brands. Not only that, in your head, you know the brands that you either have a very positive association with or a negative association. So depending on what information you received on the brand, you have formed a kind of image, okay, about this brand. Is this correct? Yes? Let's talk a little bit about makeup. Okay, L'Oreal makeup. Okay. You have, when I say L'Oreal makeup, you have a certain image that pops into your head. This image was formed because of the product itself, first of all, because of its pricing, because of the promotions that you have seen, ads, promotions, whatever, and also because of where you can find this product. All these together form a certain image in your head, okay? And all these messages that were sent by the company, they were sent because they were after a certain target market of this brand, of the L'Oreal brand, okay? So it's a makeup brand targeted for whom? Women, of course, women. Yes, but can you go a little bit more in your segmentation? Which women? Is it every woman? Every woman?
Like for adults, maybe, specifically.
Could be for makeup artists, for wedding makeups, etc. Could also be for targeted to teenagers.
Yes, so it's the younger ages of women, teenagers, and young women who are looking for vibrant colors, who are looking for a less expensive product, because in general, the younger the ages are, the less expensive the product, the less affordable it could be for the younger age. Okay, so this is a targeting strategy. Okay, the product design, the ads that you see, the girls that you see in the ad are all young, a certain age, the colors. So it all fits together. Okay, there is a good match between all the elements of this brand. Okay, let's take on the other hand, on the other side, another brand, the Lancome makeup. Okay, Is it different in your head? Yes. It's targeted more to older women with more classic colors, right? The ads are more classical. They have older, maybe models in their ads. The makeup themselves are more expensive because this older segment will afford a higher price. Okay, even the Dior products. Okay, they are targeted to a different target market. Now, I gave you the two examples, the L'Oreal and the Lancome examples, because these two brands, guess what? They are owned by the same company. Okay, but you don't know it. Okay, why? Because this company, the same company, has established different brands in order to target different segments of people. Because the product positioning, remember positioning from B207A, is totally different. All right, so if with the same product positioning they target two different segments, people will be confused. Okay, so in order to reduce this confusion, they have created two different brands. Okay, so they have an identifiable product. Does it make sense? Okay, so this is a very successful example of a brand. It doesn't mean that every brand is successful. Okay, there are unsuccessful brands, of course, that we didn't hear of, or unsuccessful brands in terms of we look at them as consumers as, you know, not attractive at all. Okay, so also here, what draws my attention is that the brand could also be for a person. Okay, you can create your own personal brand in which you decide what to offer as a service, for example, to your audience or to the consumers who will be taking your service. Okay. Also, all these influencers that you see around you, educators, people who sell you services, this is what they do. In order to convince you with a certain service that they sell, they have to have an identifiable, okay, personal branding. The word now is extremely important, personal branding. Okay, any questions so far before we continue?
No, miss, thank you.
Great. Okay, so here we have the brand identity versus brand image. Okay, very simply, brand identity is what the company or the brand wants you to see it. Okay, so they decide, we want you to see us as A, B, C. All right, so it comes from the side of the organization, of the brand. Now, the brand image is how you as a consumer actually see the brand. Okay, now, so this is on the side of the consumer. So identity is on the sender side and image is on the receiver's side. Will the two always be the exact same? No, no. The more successful brands are able to have a match between what they want their consumers to see them at and what their consumers actually see. Okay, so the successful brands will have these two almost equal. All right, the unsuccessful brands, they say we want A, B, C, okay, but they don't know how to deliver this message. Okay, because they have a mix of signals, mix of messages in their ads, in their promotion, maybe in the place where they sell their product. So they don't have a good package overall that is a good fit with their target market. Okay, so this is about brand identity and brand image. brand reputation. What does reputation mean?
It's like the more the brand like has a big famous reputation for the society.
Yes, absolutely. So it represents the evaluation of the brand by the society, so by the external environment. Okay. Now, of course, the reputation of any person comes from their actions, from how they treat others, how they talk to others, and so on. Right? The reputation of a company also comes from its actions. Okay, whether it's it does some ethical things to its external environment, whether it has good social responsibility, whether it treats its employees well or not, whether it has some social responsibility or not. All of these will be part of the company's reputation. Okay. Yes.
Doctor,
Yes, go ahead.
can you give us example for the previous page? It's like about the brand
Yes.
image.
Yes, I will go back to the previous page, but here I have an excellent example about brand reputation. This is a recent, thank you for this example, it's excellent. It's a recent example that we all have heard about, and it was about Balenciaga. All right, Balenciaga has ruined its reputation by its own actions. Okay, now the Instagram account of Balenciaga is blank, it's off, so they have only blank pages over there. The stores started to close. People stopped buying. Even we saw this big thing from influencers and everybody who were cutting their clothes of Balenciaga and shoes and whatever, asking people to just boycott Balenciaga. This is a great example of a brand reputation that has been ruined literally very quickly and with just one ad campaign. Okay, so this is a great example. Consumers have an idea about the brand's reputation, even if they have not consumed the products. So even if you don't own a Balenciaga product, you have heard of it. And the reputation now, you know, it's very bad in your head. And nowadays, news get to us very quickly through groups and through social media and through the internet, you name it. Okay, so companies need to be extremely careful about what actions they make and about what is good or bad for their external environment. Okay, so I've been asked for examples of a brand identity and brand image. Okay, so the example here, exactly the examples that I gave you before for L'Oreal makeup and the Lancome makeup. Okay, now, what was intended by the company, okay, the intentions of the company was for us to see how each makeup brand has a different positioning. Okay, and when I said the name of the makeup, most of you were aware that the two brands are different. Okay, so the same thing, maybe the guys will not understand the makeup brands so much. So the same thing when I tell you the difference between an Infinity car and a Nissan car. Also, Hyundai and Genesis, they are owned by the same company. Okay, Hyundai and Genesis are owned by the same company, but their positioning is different. Okay, and we are able to see the difference between the two. Okay, so the brand identity is what the company wants you to see about the brand. How successful is it? Okay, is the consumer able to see these characteristics? Is the consumer able to see what the company wants him to see? Okay, that's the brand image. Okay, so if these two are equal or almost equal, it means that the company was successful in promoting the brand. All right, But if what we see as consumers, the brand image, is different than what the company wanted us to see, then this is a unsuccessful brand. Okay, so it could lead to confusion in us understanding the brand. Okay. So the examples here, they don't have to be brands from the same company. Okay, I could say the difference between Kia and a Mercedes, for example. Okay, they don't have to be from the same company, but I stressed out 2 different brands from the same company to tell you that big corporations do different brands on purpose because different brands serve different target markets and they have different marketing strategies. Okay, because it makes more sense to separate the brands in order to appeal to different target markets. لأنه each target market will be addressed in a different way. Okay. So, what's brand equity? What does the word equity mean? الملكية. Yes, anybody here accounting major? Equity usually is the ownership. It's how much or the amount that the owners own. Okay, it's assets minus liability. Here, in this context, brand equity, when you build a brand, you keep spending money on this brand. Okay, eventually it becomes valuable and you can sell it for a big price. Some brands were sold for millions and millions of dollars. Okay, so brands have come to be considered organizations' most valuable assets because they have a monetary value and they include brand recognition, spontaneous recall of the brand, because as soon as you see the brand logo or colors or product, your brain will take you back to everything you know about the brand. Okay, it will give you either a positive association or a negative association about the brand. So this is why brand equities are valuable.
Miss?
Yes,
What
yes.
does it
أي
mean?
منتج بيحطوا حقوق
What does it
المنتج.
mean sponsored recall?
Which one?
It's like after the brand recognition. It includes the brand recognition.
Which point is it? Which point is it?
The
First,
third
second,
one.
the third one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spontaneous recall.
Okay. Okay. Good question. The brand itself will serve the consumer. Okay, when the consumer is considering to buy a certain product. Yeah. For example, let's suppose that today you go to an electronic store, you go to Extra, okay, and you want to buy a TV. Okay, so you stand in front of 2 brands of TV. Okay, let's say you stand in front of TCL and Sony. All right, and you look at the characteristics of both TVs, and they are very similar. So both TVs have similar characteristics in the size of the TV and what they bring, so on and so forth. But the only difference between them is the brand and the price. This has happened to so many of us. Okay, you see the exact same product with the same characteristics, but the difference is in the price and in the brand. So here comes the buyer's consideration set on which product to choose. When the brand is very strong, the consumer will be more likely to choose the brand that he or she knows about in a positive way, right? This is why the brand equity is important, because it allows the brand to have more sales, very simply, okay? How many times have you bought a product because you know the brand? and you don't bother to search or to try other brands. Okay, this has happened a lot. Okay, this is what this means. Okay, so here's another example. Imagine you are walking in the supermarket, you come across a bar of chocolate for a brand that you have never seen. Okay, now the question here is what will make you buy this bar of chocolate? If you haven't tried it before, what will make you, and you have never heard about the brand, you have never seen an ad, nobody have told you about it, but what would make you take the risk? It's not a big risk with chocolate, but it is a risk with a TV. You see the difference here. Okay, but for a bar of chocolate, what would make you buy this bar of chocolate? Yes, the packaging. An offer, if it's on sale, if it's they have offer. The price, okay, yeah. Promotion. Okay, all right. So you mean collaboration with another chocolate? Yeah, the color. So you said the package. I think most of us will buy the bar of chocolate because of the package. What will the package tell you? Does an attractive package mean there is a good chocolate inside? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But this is how consumers are attracted. Okay, so what will you read on the package? The ingredients. Does everybody read ingredients for chocolate? Well, I don't. No. Special flavors. Okay, what else? So maybe you like milk chocolate more than you like dark chocolate or whatever, or caramel or anything. So of course you need to know which flavor it is. But what else will you be looking at the package? The name of the product, that you have never heard of it. Okay, you will search, you will open your Google app. You will take the risk. It's just chocolate, okay? With the TV, you can't really take the risk. It's a different risk because it's much more expensive. Okay, well, for me, I would look at the country of origin. Okay, because some countries are known to have good chocolate. If this chocolate came from Switzerland, I will be more excited to try it than if it was coming from somewhere else. Okay, so here comes the brand name of the country itself as well. Okay, if a car is German, you are more likely to think that this is a good car. Okay, if the clothing are from Italy, you are more likely to think this is good fashion. Okay, if the watch is from Switzerland, okay, it's more likely. So some countries also are known. Brazil is known for coffee, and so on. Okay, so let's move to brand content. What is the brand content?
It's the engagement that happens between the company and the customers.
Absolutely, it's the engagement, and also the content that you see on the website. It's the content that you see on their social media platforms. It's what you can read. Sometimes it's their story, how they started. I'm also interested about learning how this company started. They tell you there's always a tab that is called About Us. Okay, consumers, a lot of consumers are curious to know how the company have started, if they have a story. Did it start as a family business and then it grew up like the KFC story? Okay, so these stories will give you the sense of belonging. That will give the consumer the sense of belonging and that you know everything about this brand, and then it sticks better to your head. All right, this is why brands spend so much effort and time and money working on their content, المحتوى. Okay, their content tells us who they are. Okay, it tells us who they are, what the brand is about, and how we should be looking at it, yes? And the message that is being sent, the positioning, okay, all of these, we get them from the brand content. Yes, go ahead. What else? Okay, so now we go to the role of brands for organizations. What is the role of the brand? We already discussed a lot. So now we have an idea why brands are good for organizations. Okay, a brand like Sony is extremely valuable that it makes a person decide to buy the Sony TV instead of any other brand of TV, for example. Okay, I might be mistaken. You might have another preferred brand for a TV, but Sony is known to be more expensive than other TV brands for the same level of TVs. Okay, for similar products. Yeah. It enables the premium pricing to be charged. It enables the company to price the product more than other products. It guarantees the future income. It deters market entry from potential competitors. It becomes more difficult for competitors to enter because now they also have to create and build their brands. It facilitates their own entry into new markets, like global markets. It increases bargaining power with distributors. So even distributors, if you are a very good brand, you have more power with distributors, with suppliers, even with consumers, you have more power. Okay, you can command royalties through licensing. So you could use your brand name to be licensed somewhere else. So today, if you want to buy a Disney t-shirt, so any t-shirt that you buy from the mall that has the Disney characters, some money would go to Disney through licensing. Okay, because you are using the Disney characters. Disney is a brand. It acts as a communication device to consumers through a brand identity. So whenever you see a certain brand of a product that you are looking for, now you think that, well, this is the better product because I know this brand. Okay, and this is a great benefit for organizations for having brands. And of course, lastly, it encourages consumer loyalty. If you are used to a certain brand, you are more likely, okay, to buy it again and again, and also to tell other people about it and to try to convince them to buy this other brand, your friends and relatives. Now, what's the role of brands for consumers? Similarly, for consumers, it helps us identify and make our search for products easier. Because the first thing we do is read the brand name. When you are looking for a TV, for a car, for a piece of clothing, for shoes, the first thing you identify is which brand is that. Is it a Nike or Adidas or Puma or whatever? Okay, so you identify it. It acts as cues to information about products. Okay, why? Because as we said before, your head has so much information about this brand. Okay, so you know what it is. So it's easier for you to make a decision. It gives you trust and it increases your confidence when you want to buy the product. It reduces the risk that you think you are taking. So you don't want to make a risk by trying a new brand or trying a new product. You will just stick to whatever you know, even if it means paying more for it. Okay? Lastly, and very importantly, the role of brand for consumers. It stimulates emotional rewards, such as nostalgia, so when you remember the past with a certain brand, or the sense of identity and fulfillment of personal values. It gives you the sense of identity. So when you buy an expensive brand, it gives you the sense that I can afford this. This means I am successful. I have the money to do it. And this is what the expensive, the luxurious brands, this is what they count on. Okay? They try to convince their consumers that by buying these expensive clothing or shoes or bags or watches or whatever, it gives their consumers the sense of fulfillment and identity that they belong to a certain class in their society, right? So all of this is psychological effects by brands. So now we come to the brand architecture and naming. How do you name the brands? The company could use, the brand could use the same company name as the brand name. So here we have the brand name IBM. Also, they call the computers IBM. Okay, so the brand and the company are the same name. Or you could have a strong company endorsement. So a strong relationship to the company, okay, like the Apple iPhone, the Apple iPad, iWatch, Apple Watch, and so on, okay? So these are different categories within the same brand. Or you could have a weak company endorsement like Nestle. Nestle has so many products in the supermarket, but we don't always know that this is a Nestle product. Okay, this is what we call weak endorsement. So you have to turn the package and read the Nestle's name on the package, but you won't always know that this is a Nestle product. Okay, also we have some individual brand names like the company Procter & Gamble, P&G. Have you heard of this company before? Yes, Procter & Gamble has so many brands, and you wouldn't be able to tell which brands are for Procter & Gamble, but I'm sure you use them on a daily basis, okay? Like Pampers, like Ariel, like Crest, and so many other brands. They have individual brand names. Not all of them have the same name. Or you could use the mixed approach. What is the mixed approach? It's a mix of all of the above, okay? So sometimes you have weak company endorsement, sometimes you have a strong company endorsement, sometimes you have individual brand names, depending on which products you are working with. So not necessarily a company will have only one strategy for naming its brands, okay? Also, we have the brand naming types. It could be coined, okay? So coined means it's just a word that you made up, okay? You just make up a certain word for your brand, like the word AXA, just like the word Yahoo. Does it mean anything? No, they just made it up, Yahoo. All right? It could be arbitrary, عشوائي, right? An arbitrary name is a name that you just chose to name your brand with, like Amazon. Yes, Amazon does have a meaning, but it is an arbitrary name for the company.
Miss?
Yes, go ahead.
It's like your voice, it's like close to the mic. It's like giving us some noise sound.
Can you repeat? Because I haven't heard what you said.
I mean, you're close to the mic. It's like it's giving us a sound of a noise.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the feedback. I will, I will try my best. Is it better now?
Yeah. No, it's okay.
Thank you. Perfect. Thanks. Okay, or it could be suggestive. Suggestive means the brand name suggests what the business is about. Okay, or it could be descriptive. It could describe what the company is about. Okay, like if you have, for example, a laundry business. Okay, you could say white laundry, or just white laundry. Okay, this is the name of your business, white laundry. It gives you a description of what exactly you do. Or it could be generic, that has the name, the original name of what your product is about. Okay, for example, the original name of the sheet of transparent regenerated celluloid is called cellophane, for example. Okay, so you reuse this name because it is actually the original name of what you are doing. Okay, cellophane. Now, we have some brands that are meaningful and we have some brands that are non-meaningful. Meaningful brands, they can tell the consumer what they are about. Okay, so this is what we call the choice principle. Just like we said before, white laundry. Okay, they tell the consumers what exactly they are about. This is the advantage. But the disadvantage is that you could have 10 businesses with similar names. Okay, one called whiter laundry, one called white laundry, another one called more than white laundry, and you will not stand out as a brand when you have a choice principle. It's hard. Using a non-meaningful word, a brand name, is called a Juliet principle. Okay, and here you have a better chance to stand out and to be special as a brand. Okay, because it will be harder for your competitors to have a similar name. Okay, so the next slide here is about the brand naming process. So of course, first of all, you have to specify the objectives of the brand naming process. You create some candidates. Okay, so maybe you have 10 options, 10 different options of what your brand name would be. And then you evaluate each one of them. You put the positives and negatives of each one. You choose a brand name, and then you have to trademark it so nobody else could use it. Okay, so nobody else could use the same brand name that you are working on. Logos as well are very powerful and very helpful in establishing the brands because of their colors and because of what they are. They are part of identifying the brands. Okay, so the chocolate Milka, for example, is known for this purple color. McDonald's is known for the red and yellow vibrant M signs. And of course, Nike, we all know this, this logo. These are very powerful ways to identify the brand. Finally, packaging and labeling. Somebody here said that she will buy the chocolate because of the packaging, right? Of course, this is a very powerful way to attract consumers. The package could make it or break it with your brand. A package will attract the attention of the consumers and will give an idea of the kind of quality that is existent. Because this is the first thing that the consumers see as your brand is their package. Before they try it, they see the package. So it has to be attractive enough and suitable to the target market that you are attracting. We have to pay attention with packaging nowadays we have lots of sustainability issues like recycling and using the right paper and plastics and all types of materials should be sustainable because the consumers are being made aware more and more, and they are more interested in buying from companies who are environmentally and socially responsible for their actions, these labeling actions. All right. So this is all we have for today. Do you have any questions?
No, miss. يعطيك العافية كل شيء.